Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Rising Tide Leadership Podcast, Identity and Influence. My name is Mo, and I'll be sitting in the host chair. Today, I have with me the man, the myth, Dr. Lem Usita. What's up, dude?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Mo? Always great to see you. Always great to be on the Identity and Influence podcast.
This is Leadership Lesson 49, and it's called the Tom Yankoff Lesson. Tell us about Tom and what the lesson is all about.
Yeah, man. Tom is like a huge influence in my life. Anytime I have questions on leadership or business or just, anything management, like he really knows leadership principle, but he's also lived it. And so he can walk me pretty much through any kind of situation, employee situation, organizational leadership. Like he just has done it all. And so everyone needs a Tom in their lives is, one of the first lines. And so he challenges me and he encourages me, and he's just a guy that I've known for several decades. And so it's just great to have Tom in my life.
Yeah, I love that line. Everyone needs a Tom Yankoff in their life.
Yeah.
Who is he? What kind of influence did he have on you and your leadership journey?
Yeah, he's done some amazing things, but keeps a low profile. I mean, I go to him again when I need insight on leadership or leading. He was mentored by Peter Drucker years ago. He's worked with some of the top companies, mentoring like top teams, top level teams that you would have heard of, and people that like they call him. So it's been pretty awesome to just have him in my life. And I've known him at this point 25 years. And so, when you've known somebody that long and somebody knows you for that long and they have all this amazing leadership insight, like you hold on to them.
Yeah, I love that. You describe Tom as someone who lives leadership. A lot of people, they just study it.
Yeah.
Tom is one of those guys that doesn't just talk the talk, but he walks the walk. So what's so important about that distinction?
So he knows the leadership literature. Like I was saying, he was mentored by Peter Drucker. So he knows all of his principles. In fact, he would share things that Peter Drucker had taught him that Peter Drucker never wrote. And so it was awesome to get some insight on some Peter Drucker lessons, some leadership stuff. So he knows the leadership literature, he knows the research, but he's also lived out the reality of that research. So he can speak to leadership, but then give examples that help me better understand the principle, like personal examples, companies that he's built, people that he's worked with, the types of personalities that come into your organization, and then how to work with those personalities, like how to approach them, how to communicate with them. Like he's worked with all kinds of people. And so like somebody that knows all and has all of that knowledge, but then also has that real world experience, to back up that knowledge is pretty awesome. And so that's why, yeah, man, that's why it's so valuable to know a leader that knows the literature, but then also has lived it out.
How does that hands-on real-world experience change the way a leader like Tom teaches or mentors others?
So Tom doesn't just know the stuff, he's actually lived it. The hands-on experience changes the way a leader teaches or mentors, because that Bernard, that Shaw line that says those who can do and those who can't teach, right? Those that only know it and understand the literature, they're the ones that are teaching. But those who can actually do it, they're the ones leading. And so to follow and emulate someone that's done it, those are the kinds of people that I want to learn from, because they're not just teaching theory, right? They also mentor and teach from experience. They know what it feels like. They can speak from multiple dimensions of the organization and the leadership experience. And so, yeah, man, Tom is one of those guys that he knows the leadership literature, but then he's lived out the reality of it. So he can explain it. He can tell me what will happen. He can tell me the steps that will happen, because he isn't just a theoretical leader.
Now, let's talk about some of the dangers. So what's the danger of being a theoretical leader and not putting it into practice?
Yeah. So I guess the danger of being only a theoretical leader is that it's limited. You have a limited perspective. You only can speak to the theoretical side of things. You can't speak to the practical or the pragmatic. They can't speak to the emotional experience or even the logistics of what will happen if you do it in a particular way. So maybe it's not danger. Maybe there isn't a danger of being a theoretical only leader. It's just a limitation. And then, I guess that's the danger. You only get one aspect of it. You don't get you don't get the full experience.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think there's a lot of leaders that really struggle with that. They know how to say the right things,
Yeah, but they haven't
but
done it.
they haven't done it. And so one of the things that you highlight is that Tom has the ability to take really complex ideas or vague leadership ideas, and then he makes them practical. So how does Tom do that?
Tom's able to do that because he's led and he's learned from great leaders. And then he's also a really good teacher. He can get rid of all the fluff and just teach the principles that matter. And then also, because I have this 20 plus year relationship with me, because I have this 20-year relationship with him, he knows how to speak to me because he knows me as a person and a leader. So he doesn't have to tell me everything. He can customize it for who I am as a leader, for my particular personality. And sometimes he's pretty sharp with his words and he'll just like, give me a kick in the pants because that's what I need to hear. But then he'll also encourage me in ways that like other people can't because I've known him for over 2 decades. And so, yeah, he can take those complex and vague leadership ideas and make them practical because he knows me and he knows how I think and he knows the experiences that I've had. And then he can customize it for who I am, where I am in my journey.
So Tom does that really well. What about for leaders who are listening and they just don't want to talk about leadership, but they actually want to translate it into real action? What do they do?
There are leaders that won't be able to translate it into real action for their teams, and that's okay. But the leader that can do this will be connected to their team. So the ability to do this comes from doing inner work. It comes from knowing yourself. It's doing identity work. You need to become the type of leader that can and wants to do this. But just wanting to do it isn't enough. Like you have to know the theory and then you have to live it out in practice. And then on top of that, you have to have a strong desire to want to translate it into real action for your team. And all of that requires inner work. You know what I mean? Because there's some great leaders that can do some amazing things, but they may not necessarily want to connect with their team and they may not necessarily want to or have the time to teach. But if you want to be the type of leader that wants to translate some of this theoretical stuff into real action for your team, like you gotta live it, know it, live it, and then grow that desire to want to teach and train your team. And it's okay that you don't do that, but the question is, if you want to do that, how do you do that? And that's how.
Yeah. And you mentioned that Tom is pretty generous with his
Yeah.
knowledge. Like he just gives it away. He
Yeah.
doesn't hoard it. He doesn't just tell you a little bit of it. He gives you the good stuff. So why do you think that's such a rare quality in leadership today?
He has developed the desire to want to help the next generation of leaders. Like I was saying, when he was young in his journey, he went to Peter Drucker and he met with him and then he was mentored by him because he pursued him. And so because that was modeled for him, he wants to also do that for the next generation of leaders. And so, he was able to see mentoring and it was modeled for him. And so then he developed that love and desire to mentor the next generation of leaders.
So then what does it look like for a leader to be open-handed with his or her wisdom and experience and just be ready to give it away?
Man, when I called Tom, like he's just a phone call away. He's always eager to help. And it doesn't matter what question I might have about leadership, the answer is almost immediate. He's run multiple businesses, he's worked with high level leaders, and he knows his stuff, but then he cares about me enough that he makes time for me. I mean, he's a good guy to have. He speaks into my life and my leadership and helps me to become a better man and a better leader. So somebody that is open handed with their wisdom and experience is really, really valuable. They're hard to find because there's lots of leaders that I know that I don't call for mentoring, but this guy has done some amazing things. And not only has he done amazing things, he cares about who I am as a person. So that's why I go to him for mentoring.
Yeah, it sounds like we all need to take a page out of that book of generosity. So
Yeah.
how can generosity and leadership actually strengthen influence?
Generosity, I think, attracts leaders. He was constantly training and mentoring the next generation of leaders. And so because he was generous, these leaders would come to him. And then as they were getting mentored from him, as they were getting some training from him, they were able to go out and become better leaders. And then his influence grew because of that. Like he's in his 80s now. He's still mentoring young 20 somethings, like because he puts himself in those situations where he identifies young leaders and then he just brings them in and he builds into their lives. And I mean, he's done it for me in my life. And 25 years later, I'm still calling him. So yeah. And my leadership continues to grow because of the impact that he's had and the mentoring that he's had on me. So his generosity, man, just continues to attract more leaders, and then it grows his influence.
Yeah, there's a great line in your article where you say, "Don't try to outdo Tom." And he said, "Hey, if you outdid me, I would celebrate. Since you already outdid me, I've already celebrated." So how did that moment reveal about Tom, his humility and his leadership and all the good things about his
Yeah.
character?
When a great leader speaks into you, somebody that has done some amazing things like Tom, when he speaks leadership into you, man, it just builds you up. It's a boost of confidence. And so that's why I say everybody needs to have a Tom in their life, because when you need that boost of confidence, when you need to be built up, it's just a phone call away. It helped me to see myself as a leader and a winner. And when a leader and a winner says that to you, it's a really awesome feeling. And so that's why the lesson is everybody needs a Tom, somebody amazing that can speak into your life, that'll boost your confidence and help you to become a better leader.
Yeah, we live in such a competitive society. So how can leaders cultivate that same spirit that Tom has, one that celebrates the success of others rather than always trying to compete?
Yeah. It takes a secure leader to do this. And so I've seen leaders, very insecure leaders, they have people around to build their ego, right? And so they keep people around to build them up. But a humble and secure leader such as Tom, he celebrates the successes of others. And he can only do that because he's humble and he has security in his leadership. I mean, it just blows me away sometimes. He tells me the story of like people that he's worked with and people that he's mentored. Again, people that you and I would know, lots of people would know. And he makes time for me. Like, it's pretty awesome to just have a guy like that that cares about me and continues to build into me. So everybody go find a Tom that'll do that for you.
Every leader needs somebody like Tom. I
Yeah.
agree. We
Yeah.
need someone who brings clarity, brings wisdom. Things get messy in leadership. And so, for leaders who are listening who don't have somebody like Tom in their life, what do they do? Where do they start looking?
If you don't have a Tom in your life, you got to get rid of some of the people that are around you, because you need to be hanging out with people like Tom. And if it's not easy to find Tom, then you're hanging out with the wrong people. Simply straight up. Like, if it's not so easy to find somebody like Tom, you got to get rid of the people that you're hanging around with. So find new people, and in finding new people, find your version of Tom. Man, if you can't just automatically like identify somebody like that in your life that can mentor you, that's a winner, that's a leader, then bottom line, you're hanging out with the wrong crew. Get rid of those people and start hanging out with winners and leaders, and then pick a Tom out of that crew and start hanging out with him and have them build into you. But that's how I would answer that question.
Yeah. And really, once you find somebody like Tom or several people, both you and I have several mentors,
Yeah,
men and
yeah.
women who mentor and coach us. At some point, you get to the point where you need to become that kind of person for somebody else and pay
Mhm,
forward what was
mhm.
given to you.
Yeah.
So how can leaders who are young in the leadership journey get ready for that, to be a Tom for somebody else?
Yeah, I think it helps to be that kind of person when you hang out with Tom, because Tom has modeled it for me. I've been able to see it, and he showed me how to do it. And so you're going to learn how to do it when you hang out with somebody that does it for you. So watch them, learn from them. Then you emulate what they do. You just copy what they do. And then people will let you know. People will let you know if they're following you or not. And you're not going to win everybody, and that's okay. But the ones that do follow you, model for them what it means to be generous, to be humble, to be secure in your leadership, and then build other people up, celebrate their successes. I mean, you can do that. You can become that kind of person when you learn it and it's modeled for you, and then trying it with other people.
Yeah, man, I love that. And you know me, I'm all about coaching and mentorship, both being coached and mentored and then being a coach and a mentor for others.
Yes,
So
sir.
I think the bottom line for the audience today is, look, you got to find your Tom Yankoff. You got to find the guy, you got to find the girl who can, if you don't have anybody, you got to find someone who can speak truth, share wisdom, celebrate your growth, help you through the failures, make sure that you're failing forward and not giving up, because we need a lot of good leaders out there. So thanks, Doc. I appreciate that.
Yes,
For
sir.
our audience, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it, and somebody who needs somebody like Tom in their life or needs to be a Tom to somebody else. Sign up for our newsletter at rtclc.com. It's free. We give you all the good stuff. Duck, I can't wait for the next one. I'll see you then.
Yes, sir.